straight out of college, I ended up getting a gig at a media corporation. The perks to that are that you get the greater access to the system, the beast system that's inducting you in to be a cog. Basically, I started out as a production assistant. I started writing commercials for a particular market, honing my skills there, and then rose in the ranks, getting the opportunity to study under one of the very best creative directors. He was from New York, McCann Erickson. He was known for creating some household brands across America. This is Madison Avenue. So I was taught branding and strategy. This was back around in the year 2005 or so, 2006, working for the largest media corporation. So the reach was television, radio, billboard advertising, also gateway ads and banner ads, so that's internet as well. Also, we were controlling entertainment, so music, concerts. My group, we were a think tank. We were an internal ad agency. We were servicing the top advertisers across the country. Our charge was to make the medium sexy, to reinvent it. So we were dealing in shorter length form advertising. Instead of going on and on and on for ages, we wanted to execute things in shorter length and came up with innovation for the rest of the company, and also that the industry would then follow as well. So I got to work with billboard writers, top producers, the best of the best. So part of keeping this game going was I worked directly with 3 leading consumer advisory services. For me to have access to this information cost my company, for example, $40,000 just to have access to one of these companies. So obviously that's at a very high level to have access to this information. Not everybody can take a look at it. From there, I was the trusted filter, the trusted editor to get the information out to the rest of the company, which would then help to inform the sales staff and the production people how to be effective in getting consumers to buy into the products, etc. One of the things that really caught my eye was when I was looking at those advisory services, the information that they put out, I started to notice that, hey, when the Obama change campaign came out, they didn't even bother to change like the copy points, like how the information was communicated. It was so obvious to me that they had created this archetype based on the data that they had been tracking and the culture throughout not only America, but the world. They wanted to create a character, a type of leader that the rest of the world would embrace. And that caricature, that archetype was clearly the Obama person and the change campaign.
The persona that we know as Barack Obama was created by an advertising agency from data collection, market research, and they just created a persona that people would respond to.
Yes.
He's not
correct.
a real person.
And that was very obvious by looking at what was coming out at that time. The information that I was looking through, that I was sorting through on what would be persuasive, it raised a lot of red flags, and it indicated to me that, hang on, I had to step back and take a moment and realize this thing is really that big. It confirmed that all the world is a stage.
And confirms the suspicions that many of us have that these politicians, at least after a certain level, are not real people. They are puppets.
When thinking about these different meetings that I would go to, like in Los Angeles at the Beverly Hilton or down in Miami, and how they would give us these insider scoops about what's happening with the culture, where it's trending, it was just like this whole epiphany that I had with the change campaign. I could see that this was literally like an agenda, like it was like a rollout of an agenda, of a syllabus for then marketers across the country to disseminate to the smaller local level to implement these changes. It's like, okay, here's what's coming. But really it was all operating out of what I could see was Agenda 21, which I had learned about years and years ago. So it was quite chilling. Back in 2004, 2005, I was getting documents based on, okay, here's what's coming is gender blending, androgyny. You're going to see it in fashion. You're going to be coming into a time where instead of living in excess, you're going to be living in scarcity. You're seeing catchphrases and slogans like people, planet, profits, triple bottom line. You're seeing how the green movement is surfacing up. This idea of all of these things that marketers and people in communications would then be trickling down to influence the culture and then bring about that reality, right? So it's basically just leading us, leading society, leading culture into exactly what they wanted and steering us into exactly the space that they wanted us to be in mentally. It's just this dance between the pendulum swing that's now coming into the communitarianism.
Moving from prosperity to austerity. And one of the first signs of that is when the models, all of a sudden the models appear to be anorexic and starving, and it programs the mind in a certain way.
And now they're telling us that it's okay to be plus size, which is fine, but it's not necessarily always healthy. So they're always doing this black and white checkerboard thing. They're always making the pendulum swing back and forth. Having that background of having read Behold a Pale Horse and reading Agenda 21 and seeing these plans that they have for the 21st century and then just watching it roll out, being brought into that inner circle to say, okay, here's what's going to be happening, get ahead of it, understand where the opportunities are as marketers, as advertisers, let's bring people into the fold. You just feel inspired by it. From the marketing point of view, you've got your creative direction and you're just ready to execute the strategy. You've got your info, here's how to do it, let's execute it, let's do the best that we can, make it super compelling, make it creative, so you get lost in the work, you get lost in the advertising that you're creating. The whole system is atomized, so you've got people doing their individualized parts within the system. We all played a part to bring this thing to life, to take an idea and to bring it into fruition out into the culture. So there's so many moving parts that have to take place, so many people that have to be involved in creating this little slice of reality, right? And it's teaching the culture at large how to perceive reality. And we're all just doing our part on the microscopic level. And so in that atomization, we also lose what we're actually buying into and what we're contributing to ultimately, and what that thing is, which is really clever, because in getting lost in those details, you don't see the web that you're weaving. You just know that you're going to do your part and you're going to do it really, really, really well. And you're going to put everything into it, but you don't realize what it is actually building.
Another word for this is compartmentalization.
Yes.
We think about the Manhattan Project, the Apollo Project. No one knew what they were working on at the time.
People were just literally like, okay, here's the rollout, here's what's coming up. This is your syllabus that you're following, that you're an order taker, basically. You're coming and you're learning and you're absorbing this information that's being fed to you, and then you're coming back to your team, sometimes influencing at the local level. Well, ultimately, all of it comes down to the local level, but you're coming back with that information and then planting those seeds within the society, and then everyone just jumps in because they want to do their job well, they want to do their part well.
You're a happy, willing cog in the very machine that's destroying the world.
I think most people, if they understood what they were contributing to, they wouldn't do it. The thing is you get lost in what exactly you're playing into, and how ultimately, through this submission and through playing this game, you are buying into the very system that plans to enslave you.